What if I told you that the path to lasting peace, true power, and real purpose isn't about trying to control the chaos around you, but about mastering the chaos within yourself? We spend so much of our lives trying to fix the outside world, changing people, battling situations, manipulating circumstances, but here's the truth. No matter how hard you fight, the world will never bend to your will. The only thing you can truly control is your mind, your actions, and your reactions. This isn't just a philosophical idea, it's the essence of Stoicism, a timeless philosophy that guided some of the greatest minds in history. Think of Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire amidst war and political chaos, yet found inner peace. He understood that the real battle wasn't external, it was within. Master yourself, and nothing in life will have the power to knock you down. If this idea resonates with you, you're already taking the first step toward reclaiming your peace and power. And if you're ready to embrace this radical shift in perspective, to challenge the way you've always thought about control and peace, then this is your invitation. Commit to your growth and transformation. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Endless notifications, social pressures, the expectation to always be doing, it all piles up. The external world can feel overwhelming, can't it? Often we spend so much energy fighting it, stuck in traffic, arguing with others, complaining about situations beyond our control, wishing things were different. We hope that if we just try hard enough, if we push, fight, and manipulate, we can bend reality in our favor and finally find peace. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The external world will never conform to your wishes. You cannot control the weather, the actions of others, or the endless imperfections of life. The only true power you have is over how you respond. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. In the midst of war, plague, and political unrest, he discovered peace, not by controlling the world, but by mastering his responses to it. You have power over your mind, not outside events, he wrote. That simple truth has the ability to change everything. When you accept it, it's like unlocking a superpower, the ability to remain calm, centered, and strong, no matter what life throws at you. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending everything is fine. It means recognizing that life is unpredictable, yet you have the ultimate power to choose your response. Instead of getting lost in frustration, anger, or despair, you can approach every situation with clarity and purpose. Your peace begins here, when you stop letting the world dictate your inner state and start mastering your reactions. True power doesn't lie in changing the world, it lies in changing yourself. Every time you feel overwhelmed, take a step back. Remind yourself, the events in your life aren't your enemy, your response to them is. It's easy to believe that peace comes from changing circumstances, but that's an illusion. Real transformation begins with you. Once you start mastering your thoughts and reactions, the things that once seemed impossible no longer hold power over you. Life will always present challenges. You cannot avoid them, but you can decide how you engage with them. When faced with difficulty, pause, breathe, and remember, you control your response. Discomfort, frustration, and disappointment may arise, but they don't have to control you. You are not your emotions. You are the one who chooses how to act. This is your power. This is your freedom. And when you embrace it, you begin to transform your life. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Notifications ping. Expectations weigh heavily. Pressure to act, to produce, to achieve never stops. The noise is relentless, pulling you in countless directions, and it's easy to feel like you're losing yourself. But here's the truth. The chaos outside is not the problem. Your response is. The storm may rage, but it doesn't determine your inner state. How you respond does. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you take a breath instead of snapping, you reclaim your power. This is where true freedom begins, not by controlling the world, but by controlling yourself. Think about traffic, arguments, delays, or situations that test your patience. None of it is in your control. You cannot speed up the cars, force someone to act differently, or rewrite events. But you can control your response. You can choose calm, you can choose patience, you can choose perspective. That moment of choice, as small as it seems, is where your strength is built. Self-awareness is the foundation of this strength. Notice your thoughts, your automatic reactions, the tension in your body when something triggers you. Awareness gives you the space to act intentionally rather than impulsively. Pause, reflect, respond. Each pause strengthens your mastery over yourself, over your emotions, over the chaos that once seemed overwhelming. Hardship and adversity are not enemies, they are training grounds. The challenges life throws at you are opportunities to grow resilience, patience, and clarity. Every difficulty, every unexpected twist, every obstacle can shape you if you allow it. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The storm isn't the enemy, your reaction to it is." Expectations are another hidden trap. We imagine life should unfold in a certain way, and when it doesn't, frustration and disappointment follow. Letting go of rigid expectations doesn't mean passivity. It means accepting reality while taking intentional action where you can act. It means seeing life as it is and choosing how to engage with it fully. Peace comes when you release the need to control outcomes and embrace your power to respond. And then there's the chase, the constant pursuit of more success, more approval, more recognition. We think happiness lies in reaching the next goal, but the truth is, fulfillment is here now. It's in your presence, your choices, your ability to act in alignment with your values. The moment you stop chasing and start living fully, you reclaim your life. Gratitude is the lens that transforms everything. Appreciating the small things, the warmth of your home, the breath in your lungs, the people who care, turns scarcity into abundance. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps you grounded when the world is unpredictable, reminding you that you already have enough. The power is in your mind. The peace is in your choice. The freedom is in mastering yourself. Every reaction, every pause, every shift in perspective brings you closer to inner mastery. And once you embrace this, the world outside no longer has the power to shake you. Your peace, your strength, your purpose, they are yours, anchored in your own mind. You've reached the point where the lessons become personal. The world will keep testing you, people will doubt you, life will throw obstacles in your path, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. Every challenge is an invitation to strengthen your mind, to sharpen your focus, to build the resilience you didn't know you had. The key is this: stop giving your power away. Stop letting the opinions of others dictate your worth. Stop letting fear of failure or judgment control your choices. Your life is not theirs to manage. Your energy is not theirs to drain. Every time you surrender to external chaos, you lose a piece of yourself. And every time you stand firm, every time you act with intention, you reclaim it. Discipline is not punishment. It's freedom. Freedom from impulsive reactions, from regret, from the endless spiral of what-ifs. Discipline is the armor you wear to navigate a world full of distractions, temptations, and pressures. The more disciplined you become, the more control you have over your own mind. And control of your mind is the truest power there is. Remember, no one can take your peace unless you hand it over. No one can control your focus unless you let them. Every thought, every action, every choice is an opportunity to practice mastery. Choose wisely, choose calm, choose clarity, choose yourself. This is your moment to rise above the noise, to see through the illusions that pull at your attention, to act with courage even when the path is uncertain. Mastery isn't a destination, it's a practice, a daily commitment to yourself, your values, and your inner strength. And when you look back one day, you won't remember the chaos outside. You'll remember the calm you held, the discipline you maintained, the clarity you cultivated. You'll see that in a world that tried to erase you, you stood firm. You chose yourself. Your peace is priceless. Guard it, protect it, live it. So often, the mindset we hold is what keeps us from moving forward. We get stuck yearning for what we don't have, always chasing the next thing, the next achievement, the next milestone. But when you stop longing for what's out of reach and start appreciating what you already possess, your life begins to shift in ways that are profound and deeply fulfilling. This shift is powerful because it focuses your attention on what's truly within your control, your mindset, your attitude, and your perspective. Too often we spend our days chasing things, success, approval, material possessions, as if obtaining these will finally bring us happiness. In doing so, we overlook what's right in front of us. We fail to notice the things that really matter: our health, our relationships, our time. And when we neglect these, we miss the abundance that's already present in our lives. Gratitude changes this. It pulls your focus away from an uncertain future and anchors you in the present moment. It reminds you that everything you need to feel content is already here, already within your life. When you take a few moments each day to reflect on what you're grateful for, you start to notice how rich your life truly is. Happiness isn't about waiting for something monumental to occur or achieving a specific goal. It's about recognizing the value in the small, everyday moments. Life isn't perfect. We all face challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, but gratitude transforms the way we perceive these challenges. Instead of viewing them as burdens, we see them as opportunities for growth. Gratitude allows us to find meaning, even in difficult situations, reminding us that every experience, good or bad, is part of being human. Every challenge becomes a chance to learn, grow, and become stronger. Gratitude also shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance. How often do we fixate on what we lack, imagining that happiness lies just beyond our reach? In reality, happiness isn't a destination, it's a state of mind. By focusing on what we already have, we cultivate a sense of contentment and peace right where we are. We stop waiting for external events to bring fulfillment. We realize that life, with all its imperfections, is already enough. This shift is subtle but incredibly powerful. The more you practice gratitude, the more you notice the countless things you have to be thankful for. As your awareness grows, so does your sense of abundance. You stop dwelling on what's missing and begin to appreciate what's already present. True fulfillment lives in this awareness, seeing the richness of your life in every moment and finding peace in the present rather than yearning for what's out of reach. Practicing gratitude isn't just about acknowledging the big things. It's about recognizing the small, everyday gifts we often overlook. It's about noticing the beauty in the mundane, the way sunlight streams through your window, the warmth of your morning coffee, the sound of birds chirping outside. These simple, ordinary moments, when acknowledged, can bring deep fulfillment. Making gratitude a daily habit trains your mind to see the good in every situation, no matter how small. It transforms your relationships too. When you focus on what you appreciate in the people around you, you cultivate deeper connections. You stop taking others for granted and start seeing them as the gifts they are. You recognize their presence, their support, and their love. This perspective strengthens your relationships while bringing greater peace and contentment into your own life. Perhaps the most powerful effect of gratitude, however, is how it transforms your inner world. When you shift from focusing on what you lack to appreciating what you have, you change the way you see yourself. You stop measuring your worth by external achievements and start recognizing your intrinsic value. You develop self-appreciation, confidence, self-love, and a deeper sense of peace. You no longer wait for validation from others. You validate yourself through gratitude. Gratitude is a practice that can transform every aspect of your life. It changes the way you experience the world, interact with others, and perceive yourself. It turns what you have into enough and opens the door to true fulfillment. The more you embrace gratitude, the more you realize that everything needed for a meaningful, fulfilling life already exists within you. Once you recognize this, life begins to feel different, richer, and more abundant. Discipline is a word that often carries a negative connotation. We think of it as restrictive, something that takes away freedom, a punishment, or an obligation to follow rules we don't want to. But the truth is, discipline isn't about restriction, it's about freedom, real freedom. Discipline gives you the power to create the life you truly want by mastering yourself. It's the freedom to live according to your values and goals, rather than being enslaved by fleeting desires and emotions. At its core, discipline is the ability to control your impulses. Think about how often you act impulsively, only to regret it later. Maybe you ate something you didn't really want, or wasted time on something that didn't move you closer to your goals. We've all been there. Giving in to short-term desires may feel satisfying in the moment, but every time we do, we surrender a bit of our freedom. We trade long-term fulfillment for temporary pleasure, and in doing so, we lose control over our own lives. Discipline is the key to taking that control back. When you master your impulses, you unlock your potential to become your truest self. Without discipline, we are pulled in 1,000 directions, reacting to circumstances and cravings. But when we cultivate discipline, we act with intention rather than reaction. We start living with purpose. Discipline isn't about following someone else's rules or punishing yourself for mistakes. It's about creating the space to make decisions that serve your greater good. It's about choosing actions that align with the person you want to become, rather than the person society expects you to be. Practicing this kind of discipline brings a profound sense of freedom. You are no longer ruled by your immediate desires. Instead, your choices are guided by your deeper values and long-term vision. This is where true freedom comes from, self-mastery. When you master discipline, you master yourself. You stop reacting to life and start shaping it. Saying no to short-term gratification and yes to long-term goals is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Once you have it, nothing can stop you. Consider the people you admire, the ones who remain calm under pressure, who seem to have control over their lives. Chances are they've mastered discipline. They have learned to manage impulses, to say no when necessary, and to focus on what truly matters. Because of this, they've built lives of freedom, freedom to pursue passions, freedom to make choices aligned with their values, and freedom to live without being ruled by emotions or fleeting desires. Discipline may seem restrictive at first, but experiencing the freedom that comes from self-mastery reveals that it is the most liberating practice imaginable. It allows you to choose your own path, break free from impulsive habits, and open up a world of possibilities. Instead of being pulled in countless directions, you move forward with confidence in the direction you choose. This kind of discipline doesn't happen overnight. It is a habit, a practice, cultivated over time. It starts small, waking up 30 minutes earlier, sticking to a workout routine, saying no to something that doesn't serve you. These small acts build momentum, leading to bigger victories. Over time, discipline becomes easier, and its benefits manifest in every aspect of your life: health, relationships, career, and the sense of freedom that comes with self-control. The key to discipline is consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Each consistent effort strengthens your control over your life, giving you the freedom to shape your future rather than being shaped by circumstances. Life is unpredictable, and you cannot control everything that happens. But what you can control is your response. And that response, guided by discipline, determines the outcome of your life. Discipline isn't a restriction, it's the freedom to become who you're meant to be. It's about choosing your actions, reactions, and mindset instead of letting them choose you. Embracing discipline transforms life. You no longer fight against yourself or your impulses. Instead, you work with them, aligning your choices with your values. In doing so, you experience freedom, the freedom to create, act, live, and be the person you've always wanted to be. In today's world, we're constantly seeking approval through social media, likes, followers, or recognition from others. It's easy to lose sight of who we are, conditioning ourselves to believe our worth is tied to how others perceive us. But the only approval that truly matters is your own. When you stop seeking validation from others and start validating yourself, everything changes. External validation can feel like reassurance, but no amount of praise or approval will make you truly secure if your self-worth depends on others. Every time you give your power to someone else's opinion, you sacrifice your peace. Seeking approval often means shaping yourself to fit expectations, molding your behavior to gain favor, but when you stop, you break free. You allow yourself to be exactly who you are, no more, no less. In that freedom lies true power. External validation often stems from fear, the fear of not being enough, of being judged. This is natural. We all want to be liked, valued, and accepted, but relying on others for reassurance leaves us vulnerable. Their perceptions are beyond our control. Someone may praise you today and criticize you tomorrow. If your worth depends on them, your sense of self will be unstable. The solution is to look inward. Validate yourself. Recognize your intrinsic value. You are enough as you are, without modification. The moment you stop seeking validation externally, your self-worth becomes unshakable. Opinions no longer dictate your emotions, instead your inner recognition does. Shifting from seeking approval to self-validation is challenging. We've been conditioned to look outward for reassurance, so it can feel unnatural at first. But once you accept yourself, acknowledge your achievements and appreciate your growth, you unlock authentic freedom. Self-validation is about celebrating your efforts, however small. Every step forward, every victory matters. When you validate your progress, you cultivate confidence and recognize your capability. True fulfillment arises when you stop relying on others to tell you you're worthy. Your worth is inherent. Investing in yourself is the ultimate form of security. Success is often portrayed as owning more, achieving more, or gaining recognition. But the one thing you always possess, your mind, your thoughts, your actions, is yours to shape and protect. Everything else, possessions, status, reputation, is temporary. The real power lies in cultivating your inner world. Self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and personal growth make you resilient and unstoppable. When challenges arise, it is not external assets that carry you through, but your internal strength. These qualities define your life. Everything else is fleeting. Investing in yourself is about developing these internal qualities: discipline, reflection, gratitude, and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth are investments that yield lifelong returns. Imagine the confidence of knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you are equipped to handle it. The external world may change, but your inner stability remains unshaken. As Seneca said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This wisdom flips our understanding of value. True wealth is mastery of self, not accumulation of things. The more we focus on internal strength, the less dependent we are on external validation or material possessions. The power is within. Investing in yourself benefits not only you, but those around you. Strengthening your character enhances your relationships, your leadership, and your impact. Personal growth ripples outward, but it requires time, patience, and consistent effort. There are no shortcuts to inner strength. Quick fixes, new possessions, fleeting validation, chasing success are temporary. True, lasting strength comes from daily habits, mindset shifts, and facing challenges directly. So where do you begin? Commit to yourself. Show up every day, even when it's uncomfortable. Work on your inner world. Develop discipline. Practice self-reflection. Cultivate gratitude, and embrace growth. These efforts are investments in the most important project you will ever work on, yourself. As you continue this journey, you'll notice tangible differences in how you navigate life. You become less affected by external opinions, less reliant on material measures of success, and more rooted in your own purpose. The stronger you grow internally, the more the external world aligns with that growth. Opportunities, relationships, and circumstances begin reflecting the strength you've cultivated within. True success isn't measured by possessions or accolades. It's measured by character, integrity, and living a life true to yourself. These are assets no one can take away. They are yours to build, protect, and grow for the rest of your life. We've all experienced the obsession with outcomes, the constant focus on results, achievements, and success. We chase goals as if the destination is the only thing that matters. Whether it's landing a dream job, hitting a financial milestone, or losing weight, we are conditioned to believe that once we reach the goal, life will finally fall into place. But here's the truth. True fulfillment doesn't come from the destination. It comes from the journey, the process, the steps we take each day. This is where the real magic happens. Think for a moment, how often do we get so fixated on the end goal that we forget to enjoy the steps it takes to get there? We measure our worth by what we haven't achieved yet, constantly looking toward the future while ignoring the present. This fixation on results can leave us feeling drained, overwhelmed, and unsatisfied. Perfection does not come from reaching a specific moment in time, it comes from how we show up every day. It's in the act of becoming, growing, and evolving that we discover who we truly are. Life isn't about rushing to the finish line or meeting a singular expectation. It's about showing up daily, doing the work, and embracing the journey. No matter how long it takes. The person you become along the way is the true reward. When we shift our focus from outcomes to the process, life transforms. We find meaning in the small actions, the steps that often go unnoticed, the everyday habits that compound over time. The more we focus on the process, the more we realize that fulfillment is not tied to the end goal, but to how we approach the journey itself. Every moment becomes an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to enjoy life as it unfolds. This doesn't mean goals are unimportant. They give direction and purpose. But when we fixate solely on the goal, we make our happiness dependent on external results. Shifting focus to the process allows us to create fulfillment through daily actions, effort, and mindset. We stop chasing what's outside our control and cultivate what is within: growth, self-mastery, and resilience. Imagine shifting your mindset. Instead of obsessing over what you want to achieve, you focus on how you can show up in every moment, at work, in relationships, in health. You concentrate on becoming better, rather than fixating on reaching a destination. This perspective is liberating. It removes the pressure of an end result and places emphasis on the present moment. You no longer wait for fulfillment from the future. You find it in every step you take. And when the results come, they emerge naturally, often without you even realizing it. In life, the present moment is all we truly have. By focusing on the process, we invest in ourselves, in our growth, and in our journey. The future will take care of itself. Today is about showing up, doing the work, and embracing every challenge as a learning opportunity. The world is chaotic. Every day brings news, social pressures, personal struggles, an endless flow of things beyond our control. It's natural to want to fix the world, to change circumstances, or influence others. But here's the reality: we cannot change the storms, the challenges, or the unpredictable actions of people. The good news is that while we can't control the world, we can control ourselves. How we respond to life's challenges is our true power. We can be victims of circumstance, or we can be masters of ourselves. Peace and strength come not from controlling the chaos outside, but from controlling how we move through it. Think of moments when you felt out of control. When so? Mayonnaise words hurt. When plans collapsed or when events spiraled. It's easy to let frustration, anger, or fear dictate your actions. But what if instead you chose to respond differently? What if you didn't let the world control your emotions, but controlled your reactions? That is the essence of self-mastery. Self-mastery doesn't mean being perfect or suppressing feelings. It means acknowledging emotions, yet choosing how to act. It's about taking a step back, pausing, and responding with intention, even when the world is unpredictable. This is where true power lies, not in controlling everything outside, but in knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way with wisdom, patience, and integrity. The more you practice self-mastery, the less the world can shake you. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstance. You feel empowered to navigate challenges with clarity and confidence. Your peace and happiness no longer depend on external events, but on your internal choices. The world will continue its chaos, storms will come, challenges will arise. But your response, your ability to remain grounded, is what defines your strength. When you master yourself, everything else begins to align. The external world no longer disrupts your peace. You don't need to change it to find happiness. You only need to change how you engage with it. In a constantly changing world, we often think peace comes from controlling external circumstances, our relationships, our surroundings, our challenges. But peace doesn't arise from controlling the world. It comes from mastering yourself. Inner peace is not a temporary calm. It's a deep, unshakable state that remains steady even when the world is turbulent. This peace is your greatest strength. Life can throw heartbreak, failure, stress, or loss your way, yet inner peace ensures you stand firm. Carl Jung said it best: who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. True peace is inward. It is not found in circumstances, possessions, or relationships. It is a product of knowing yourself deeply, of being so connected to your inner being that nothing outside can disturb your calm. Think about a difficult situation you faced, a conflict, a personal challenge, or a moment when life seemed to crumble. In such moments, it's easy to feel powerless, to get lost in anger or fear. But what if, instead of reacting impulsively, you focused on controlling your response? By pausing, centering yourself, and responding with awareness, you create the space for peace to grow. The power lies in the space between stimulus and response. Responding with calmness and clarity is a skill. Most of us are wired to react to stress, to fight discomfort, and to protect ourselves. But choosing to respond with poise rather than react impulsively is the essence of inner strength. Inner peace doesn't mean you won't feel anger, sadness, or frustration. These emotions are human. But cultivating inner peace allows you to experience them without being controlled by them. You acknowledge, experience, and release them without letting them dictate your actions or mindset. You choose to remain calm regardless of external circumstances. Often we imagine worst-case scenarios, creating unnecessary suffering. We worry about events that haven't happened yet, spiraling into negativity. By practicing inner peace, we prevent these spirals. We realize much of our suffering is self-created, and by controlling our responses, we reclaim calm. Self-mastery is about developing control over thoughts, emotions, and actions. It doesn't require perfection or the absence of upset. It's the recognition that you can choose how to respond. The more you practice, the more resilient and grounded you become. Nothing outside can disturb your inner peace unless you allow it. This practice builds your foundation for life. You become less reactive, more proactive. Your responses stem from clarity rather than emotion. Over time, you notice you are less affected by external circumstances and life's ups and downs. You've built a solid foundation of inner strength and peace. The world constantly demands more from us, pressuring us to chase, achieve, and control. But peace is not found in external achievement. It is created within. It arises from letting go of the need to control everything and focusing on controlling what you can, your response. When you cultivate peace within, the outside world feels less overwhelming. Challenges, frustrations, and disappointments no longer control you. You navigate life with calm and clarity. Life will always be chaotic, but your inner peace remains constant, an anchor in the storm. Mastering yourself means you stop being a victim of circumstance. You stop letting external events dictate your emotional state. You become the master of your mind, emotions, and actions. This mastery is the true power of inner peace. It allows you to remain strong and grounded no matter what happens. When you master yourself, everything falls into place. You stop chasing validation or happiness from outside and find fulfillment from within. This is the essence of inner strength. True power and peace come from mastering the world inside you, not attempting to control the world around you. Remember, nothing outside can shake you when your inner foundation is strong. True strength, peace, and fulfillment come from within. Thank you for being part of Stoicism Notebook today. If you're ready to continue your journey towards self-mastery and inner peace, check out the suggested videos on the screen. Let's keep building strength together. Even when life feels uncertain, even when outcomes seem beyond your control, the strength you cultivate within yourself becomes your guiding light. It's the silent power that allows you to move forward with confidence, even when the path ahead is unclear. Every challenge you face is an invitation to test your resilience, your patience, and your commitment to growth. Instead of resisting difficulties or blaming external forces, you learn to embrace them as tools for building character. The most successful and fulfilled individuals are not those who avoid hardship. They are the ones who have mastered the art of navigating it. They understand that adversity is not an obstacle but a teacher. Every setback, every mistake, every disappointment holds lessons that cannot be learned any other way. By approaching life with curiosity rather than fear, you begin to transform obstacles into opportunities. You stop seeing problems as threats and start seeing them as experiences that strengthen you, refine your mindset, and deepen your understanding of yourself. This inner mastery creates a foundation for consistency and perseverance. It allows you to remain steady when emotions run high and circumstances shift unexpectedly. The more you invest in your inner strength, the less you are at the mercy of fleeting moods, external opinions, or unpredictable events. You begin to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. You develop a clarity that guides your decisions, ensuring that your actions align with your long-term vision rather than short-term impulses. Your inner strength also shapes your relationships. When you are centered and self-aware, you communicate more effectively, listen more deeply, and act with empathy. You stop being swayed by drama or conflict because you have learned to maintain balance within yourself. Others are drawn to this stability, and your influence extends not because you demand it, but because your presence inspires trust, respect, and calm. Growth is never a linear process, and inner development requires patience. You will encounter days when progress feels slow or invisible. You may face moments of doubt, frustration, or fatigue. Yet, it is precisely during these moments that your commitment to self-mastery is tested. By remaining consistent and persistent, you reinforce your discipline, deepen your self-awareness, and strengthen your resilience. Small, repeated actions compound over time, gradually building a life of purpose, fulfillment, and self-possession. True empowerment comes from understanding that your most valuable resources are internal. Your mind, your perspective, and your ability to respond with intentionality are far more powerful than any external circumstance. Material wealth, social recognition, or fleeting success cannot guarantee peace, contentment, or control. But cultivating your inner resources, your emotional intelligence, self-discipline, and capacity for reflection equips you to thrive under any conditions. As you continue on this journey, notice how your perspective shifts. You begin to prioritize experiences over possessions, values over validation, and self-responsibility over blame. Life becomes less about what happens to you and more about how you navigate it. This doesn't mean challenges vanish. Difficulties will still arise. However, your capacity to face them with composure, insight, and resolve grows exponentially. You become a force anchored in your own strength rather than a leaf blown by every wind of circumstance. Mastering yourself also means embracing your own potential. It means recognizing that within you lies the ability to create, to influence, and to grow in ways that matter most to you. You no longer defer your power to chance, luck, or the approval of others. Instead, you take ownership of your thoughts, actions, and decisions, understanding that the quality of your life is directly tied to the quality of your internal state. When you internalize this truth, fear loses its grip. Anxiety about outcomes diminishes. You are no longer trapped in the cycle of seeking external validation or reassurance. You trust yourself to navigate uncertainty, to make choices aligned with your values, and to respond with wisdom in every situation. This trust in yourself is liberating. It frees you from the constant need to control everything outside you, allowing your energy to focus on what you truly can influence: your mind, your actions, and your growth. The culmination of self-mastery is not perfection, it is presence. It is the ability to engage fully with life, aware of your strengths and weaknesses, your capacities and limitations, and yet unshaken by them. It is the recognition that you are capable, resourceful, and resilient, and that no matter what happens externally, your inner world can remain steady, grounded, and purposeful. This presence becomes your greatest asset, your anchor in times of uncertainty, and your guiding compass toward a life of meaning, fulfillment, and peace. As you deepen your practice of self-mastery, you begin to notice a subtle yet profound change in how you perceive life. Challenges no longer feel like interruptions, they become catalysts. Every interaction, every decision, and every moment carries the potential to teach you something about your values, your priorities, and your inner strength. Life shifts from being a series of external events that happen to you into a dynamic process that you actively shape through awareness, choice, and intention. One of the most powerful aspects of this journey is the recognition that you are the architect of your own mindset. Thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations. These are the tools through which you build your experience of reality. By observing them carefully, questioning assumptions, and cultivating constructive perspectives, you gain the ability to influence not just what you feel, but what you achieve. This is where self-mastery truly distinguishes itself. It is not about controlling circumstances, but mastering the lens through which you view them. With this mastery comes an enhanced sense of focus. You stop scattering your energy across trivialities, distractions, and unnecessary comparisons. Instead, your energy is deliberately directed toward the actions and decisions that have the greatest impact on your life. This focused approach allows you to accomplish more, feel more competent, and act with clarity even in situations that would have once felt overwhelming. Emotional intelligence becomes a natural byproduct of this practice. As you learn to observe your reactions, understand your motivations, and regulate impulses, you respond to life with more calm and compassion. You are less swayed by anger, envy, or frustration, and more attuned to solutions, growth, and opportunity. Your relationships deepen because you engage with others from a place of understanding rather than reaction. You listen more, empathize more, and act with intention rather than emotion-driven reflexes. Part of this journey also involves embracing discomfort. Growth rarely occurs in the comfort zone. When you confront uncertainty, fear, or adversity with courage, you expand your capacity for resilience. Each moment of discomfort becomes an exercise in fortitude, teaching you that fear is temporary and your inner strength is enduring. By consistently choosing courage over avoidance, you reinforce a mindset that sees opportunity in challenge rather than threat. Your habits, too, begin to reflect your commitment to self-mastery. Daily routines, small decisions, and consistent practices compound over time, shaping the trajectory of your life in ways that are subtle but unstoppable. You learn that greatness is not the result of singular monumental actions, but of deliberate, consistent choices aligned with your values and long-term vision. Every act of discipline, reflection, and intentionality is a building block for the life you desire. Another transformative realization is that external validation, while tempting, is always fleeting. Recognition, praise, and material rewards can never replace the inner satisfaction that comes from knowing you are living according to your principles. True fulfillment arises when your actions are congruent with your deepest values and when you hold yourself accountable to your own standards rather than those imposed by others. This self-alignment brings clarity, reduces anxiety, and strengthens your confidence. As this perspective takes hold, life begins to feel more expansive. You no longer see limitations as permanent barriers, but as temporary puzzles to solve. You navigate uncertainty with curiosity rather than dread, and you understand that every experience, positive or negative, is a resource for learning and development. By embracing this mindset, you create a sense of freedom that is independent of circumstances, relationships, or material wealth. It is the freedom of knowing that your inner state is self-generated and self-sustained. Ultimately, this path leads to a life lived intentionally rather than reactively. Every choice becomes a reflection of your values. Every response demonstrates your self-control. Every moment becomes an opportunity to practice wisdom, courage, and patience. The external world may remain unpredictable, chaotic, or demanding, but your inner foundation is unshakable. You move through life not as a passive observer, but as an active participant, aware, disciplined, and empowered. Through consistent self-mastery, you cultivate a presence that commands respect, not through force or authority, but through quiet strength and unwavering integrity. Others notice your calm, your clarity, and your intentionality. You inspire without imposing, you influence without coercion, and all of this begins not from changing the world outside, but from transforming the world within, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The journey of self-mastery is ongoing without a definitive end. There is no final destination, no moment of completion. It is a lifelong pursuit of growth, understanding, and refinement. Yet the beauty lies in the journey itself, in the daily choices, the consistent practices, the conscious reflections, and the courage to face life authentically. In this ongoing process, you discover that the greatest power, freedom, and fulfillment are not things to acquire. They are qualities to cultivate within yourself. As you continue on the path of self-mastery, a remarkable transformation begins to unfold in how you perceive challenges and opportunities. Life no longer feels like a series of random events to endure, but rather a landscape rich with potential for growth. Each difficulty, each setback, and each unexpected turn becomes a chance to refine your skills, strengthen your character, and deepen your understanding of yourself. You begin to see that life's circumstances are not obstacles to happiness, but instruments for building resilience, wisdom, and inner strength. One of the most profound shifts in this stage is the realization that your attention is your most valuable resource. Where you focus your thoughts and energy determines the quality of your experience. The mind is a powerful tool, and when you train it to notice what matters, opportunities, lessons, moments of beauty, and personal growth, it begins to operate with clarity and purpose. Distractions, negative self-talk, and trivial worries lose their grip, and you find yourself fully engaged with the tasks, relationships, and experiences that truly shape your life. As your focus sharpens, so does your ability to act decisively. Procrastination, hesitation, and uncertainty no longer dominate your actions. Instead, you develop a rhythm of consistent effort, guided by intention rather than impulse. Decisions are made with confidence because they are aligned with your principles, values, and long-term vision. You begin to understand that indecision is a form of self-sabotage, while deliberate action, even imperfect action, is a source of power and momentum. Another hallmark of this phase is emotional clarity. You start to observe your emotions as signals rather than directives. Anger becomes information about boundaries, fear becomes insight into what matters most, and frustration becomes a cue to adjust your approach. You no longer react automatically, instead, you respond thoughtfully. This emotional awareness transforms relationships, enhances decision-making, and deepens your sense of self-trust. You begin to see that your inner state is not a product of external circumstances, but a reflection of how you choose to interpret and respond to them. Growth at this level also involves embracing responsibility for your life entirely. There is no room for blaming circumstances, other people, or luck. You understand that every outcome is partially the result of your actions, your mindset, and your choices. This sense of accountability can feel daunting at first, but it is liberating. By owning your role in shaping your life, you reclaim power that was previously surrendered to outside forces. Freedom is found not in avoiding responsibility, but in fully accepting it. Discipline evolves beyond routine into a conscious philosophy of life. It is no longer simply about sticking to habits or resisting impulses. It becomes a guiding principle in every aspect of your life. You see clearly where your attention is best invested, where your effort yields the greatest returns, and which patterns of thought or behavior no longer serve you. This discernment allows you to prioritize effectively, conserve energy, and focus on growth in ways that compound over time. Self-mastery also deepens your understanding of impermanence. You begin to recognize that both success and failure are temporary, that praise and criticism are fleeting, and that circumstances are constantly shifting. With this awareness, you cultivate equanimity, a steady mind that remains calm in both favorable and unfavorable conditions. You stop clinging to outcomes or attachments, and instead, you develop a profound appreciation for the process of living itself. At this stage, the practice of self-reflection becomes more intentional and structured. You routinely examine your thoughts, decisions, and actions to identify patterns, uncover blind spots, and extract lessons. Journaling, meditation, or quiet contemplation become tools to reinforce awareness and alignment with your values. This practice turns experience into wisdom, mistakes into opportunities, and ordinary days into meaningful progress. Another vital element of growth in this phase is the cultivation of patience. You begin to see that meaningful transformation takes time, and that fleeting results or shortcuts rarely lead to true mastery. You learn to trust the process, to stay consistent even when immediate progress is invisible, and to understand that perseverance is more important than speed. By embracing patience, you free yourself from anxiety, comparison, and frustration, allowing your efforts to accumulate naturally into lasting change. As your self-mastery deepens, you also develop a sense of perspective that transcends personal concerns. You start to recognize the interconnectedness of life, the influence of your actions on others, and the responsibility that comes with the ability to affect change. Your choices are no longer solely about personal gain. They reflect integrity, empathy, and awareness of the broader impact you have on the world. This shift transforms how you approach relationships, work, and community, making you a stabilizing and inspiring presence. Ultimately, Part 6 marks a stage where the inner and outer worlds begin to harmonize. You no longer feel torn between what you want and what life presents. Your mindset, actions, and environment start to align, not through force or control, but through deliberate cultivation of awareness, discipline, and presence. You live with intention, move with purpose, and respond with wisdom, creating a life that feels rich, meaningful, and resilient. The journey does not end here. Self-mastery is a continuous path of refinement, reflection, and growth. Each day offers a new opportunity to strengthen focus, deepen understanding, and act with intention. As you continue to invest in yourself, your inner strength expands, your clarity sharpens, and your peace becomes more steadfast. Life becomes less about surviving circumstances and more about consciously shaping the experiences, relationships, and impact that matter most. At this stage, you realize that true fulfillment does not come from achieving external milestones, acquiring possessions, or earning the approval of others. It comes from becoming fully aligned with your values, your purpose, and your inner truth. Life stops being a series of scattered pursuits and becomes a coherent journey of meaning. Each choice, each action, and each moment of awareness contributes to the life you are intentionally crafting. This is the essence of living with sovereignty over yourself. You begin to see your life as a reflection of the energy and attention you invest. Your habits, thoughts, and decisions compound to create your reality. There is no separation between who you are and what you experience. Your inner state directly shapes the outer world. When your mind is grounded, your emotions steady, and your focus sharp, you face the world with confidence and resilience. Nothing can sway you from your path, because your sense of purpose is unshakable. Inner peace becomes a constant companion. You no longer search for it in circumstances, people, or possessions. You carry it within, untethered from the chaos outside. Storms may come, setbacks may occur, and people may act unpredictably, but your equilibrium remains intact. This peace is not passive. It is the result of deliberate practice, consistent self-discipline, and a deep understanding of yourself. It is your power, your sanctuary, and your anchor. At this stage, compassion and wisdom naturally arise. As you have mastered yourself, you are no longer bound by ego, fear, or insecurity. You begin to see the struggles of others with clarity and empathy. You can support, guide, and inspire without being drained or overcommitted. Your presence becomes stabilizing, not because you control others, but because you embody calm, strength, and purpose. Your actions ripple outward, influencing the world in subtle but profound ways. You understand the impermanence of life, the fleeting nature of success, and the unpredictability of external circumstances. This knowledge frees you from attachment to outcomes. You no longer measure your worth by achievements, recognition, or material gain. Instead, your sense of fulfillment comes from the mastery of your mind, the integrity of your choices, and the depth of your presence in every moment. You live fully, intentionally, and with unwavering alignment with your values. Every experience, every person, and every challenge is an opportunity to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world. By approaching life as a conscious practice, you turn ordinary days into training grounds for wisdom, patience, and resilience. You stop waiting for a perfect moment to live fully. You realize that each moment is already complete, full of potential, and deserving of your full presence. In the end, self-mastery is not a destination, it is a continuous journey. But it is a journey that transforms the way you exist within the world. You move from reaction to intention, from fear to confidence, from dependency to sovereignty. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances, opinions, or fleeting desires. Instead, you are the architect of your inner and outer life, guided by clarity, purpose, and unwavering strength. Remember, the ultimate freedom lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering yourself. The greatest wealth is not in possessions, accolades, or status, but in your mind, your character, and your ability to act with wisdom and integrity. The deepest peace is not in circumstances, but in your ability to remain centered and strong, regardless of what life presents. This is the pinnacle of human potential. A life of intentional action, emotional clarity, inner peace, and profound fulfillment. You have cultivated the strength to face any challenge, the wisdom to navigate life with purpose, and the freedom to be authentically yourself. The journey never ends, but the mastery you gain along the way ensures that every step you take is powerful, meaningful, and transformative. Thank you for being part of Stoicism Notebook today. Your journey towards self-mastery and inner peace continues with each choice you make. Keep growing, keep reflecting, and keep embracing the power that lies within you. You are stronger, wiser, and more capable than you realize. Live fully, act intentionally, and own your life. When you truly learn to master yourself, everything else naturally begins to fall into place. You no longer chase after external validation or fleeting sources of happiness. Instead, you discover a deep, lasting fulfillment that comes from the quiet strength within. This is the true power of inner peace. Remember, real strength doesn't come from trying to change the world around you. It comes from mastering the world within. When you cultivate peace inside yourself, nothing outside can disturb it. Thank you for being part of Stoicism Notebook today. If you're ready to continue this journey towards self-mastery and inner peace, explore one of the suggested videos on the screen. Let's keep growing, strengthening, and building this power together.